A fire damages a downtown Bellefonte store, but firefighters are quick to the scene and get help from an unlikely hero.
And with the winter season in full force, snowplows are busy. We give you a behind-the-scenes ride with a PennDOT worker whose snow days might not be as fun as yours. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Colin Bradley.
And I'm Megan Caffrey. After 6 months of work, a task force has delivered its report on fighting sexual misconduct at Penn State. Reporter Samantha Lands brings you the details.
Members of Penn State's Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment Task Force met Thursday to discuss with the media what they've learned over the past 6 months and what their recommendations are going forward.
What we're trying to do is create a culture here at Penn State that essentially says we don't tolerate this kind of behavior. We all collectively are joined together in trying to address it, and we're going to do all we can in all the right ways possible to achieve that end.
Melissa McCleary served on the task force as a student representative.
There's this disconnect because at Penn State it's like everyone's, we are Penn State, and it's this big family and it's this community and it's this great experience that you've had at Penn State. But when it comes to issues like sexual violence, it's nobody's business. And that's someone else's problem, and if it's not my friend, I don't have to deal with it.
Among the group's 18 recommendations, an office with an investigator and other staff to focus on open cases, better staff training and victim services, and developing a single focus message on responding to sexual assault.
It really is going to take the entire university community to be part of the solution. And so our faculty and staff interact with our students, each and every day, and so they are part of the solution.
You can find this article on news.psu.edu, where you can also find links to the full report. In University Park, I'm Samantha Lance for the Center County Report.
Barron hopes to make Penn State a benchmark that other universities look up to when dealing with sexual conduct, prevention, and response.
And there's also an effort underway to educate college students about relationship violence. Penn State's Center for Women Students hosted 2 events this week, and reporter Megan Swikowski has that story.
And if there's somebody who
May I Kiss You? That's the name of a book written by Mike Domish, founder of the Date Safe Project. It's also a question he wants to know if you ask before you kiss.
Intimacy is wonderful if everything happens the right way.
Domish became an advocate for consent and survivors of sexual assault after someone raped his sister in 1989. Since then, he's traveled around the world promoting healthy, consensual relationships. Along with advocating for consent, Domish also talks about the role of women in relationships.
My stereotypes were shattered after the night.
A lady who drinks is not a slut, and that's something that I really believe in, and I don't think slut is really a term that should be used at all.
According to Penn State Police, there have been 17 reported sexual assaults on campus since August 1st, 2014. But sexual assault isn't the only issue plaguing college campuses. Stalkers or creepers can also be a threat by hacking into your online profiles.
If somebody's hacking into their Facebook or their Twitter or meeting them after class because somehow they got a hold of their class schedule.
Program Director Jennifer Pensek says documentation can be key in proving a stalking case.
If you don't have things documented, it can be really hard to remember every single instant and every fact about that instant.
From consent to stalking, the Center for Women Students and the Center County Women's Resource Center are available for victims and their loved ones. In University Park, I'm Megan Swikowski for the Center County Report.
And students can also call the Center County Women's Resource Center if they need help.
Protesters again hit the streets of Bellefonte this week, and this time are speaking out on a controversy involving Center County's district attorney. They gathered Wednesday outside the courthouse. DA Stacey Parks Miller faces forgery allegations, and protesters wore masks and yelled, "We'll take our mask off when you take your mask off." The group says it's upset about alleged corruption in local government.
Our leadership needs to be held accountable to the same standards that the people are held to. For a long time, many in this area felt oppressed, and now as more and more is coming to light with our leaders, it looks bad on it all. I'm here to try to restore a sense of sanity and empowerment to the people.
Some passing cars honked at protesters to show their support. Protesters said they want to have faith in their leadership.
I'm asking for honorable men and women to stand up. We're out here to support the good guys. we want the bad guys out and the good guys in. So if there are good people out there, get in contact with me, you know.
Parks Miller denies allegations. We talked with her lawyer, and he had no comment on the protest.
And police have now doubled the $1,000 reward for information in a state college arson investigation. On Sunday, police responded to a fire alarm set off by a burning towel in the hallway of Sutton Court Apartments. Luckily, smoke was limited to one area and nobody was injured. But this is the second reported arson at this location following a late December incident in which a fire was set in a mechanical closet. Police say based on the closeness of these incidents, they believe that they're related.
Another fire, this time in Bellefonte, is under investigation, and reporter Taylor Shelley says one man's pet may have saved his life.
Right behind me is the Verizon store, which caught on fire early Sunday morning. Luckily, all residents living above were able to get out safely, and one was especially thankful for his best friend. Bellefonte resident Tom Hester credits his 7-year-old dog Buster for getting them both to safety.
He saved both of us. I was asleep 8:12 a.m. according to my digital clock. This dog landed on me. He's a 130-pound dog. Normally can't get him into the bed. He doesn't want to be up on it, but he jumped up in the middle of it and rolled me over. And we came out of the house.
They fought through the smoke using his arms to feel his way out of the apartment. Not much actual damage was done to the apartments, and Verizon store manager Dan McGinley believes the architecture helped contain the fire.
I think what stopped the fire from going up the rest of the building was the tin ceiling that we have in here, and it kind of deflected the heat down so it didn't creep up the rest of the building. Otherwise, the building probably would have been a total loss.
From security footage at the store, authorities believe the fire may have started in an iPhone 6 display, though the cause is still under investigation. 5 fire companies worked together to put out the flames quickly. In Bellefonte, I'm Taylor Shelley for the Center County Report.
The Verizon store is working to fix the damages and hopes to be up and running within the next 2 months.
And although its scenic views have remained unchanged for more than 100 years, Route 144 has changed quite a bit. PennDOT's latest project plans to reconstruct the road through Bellefonte. PennDOT says there are 49 curb ramps along the route that don't meet the Disability Act standards. The project could cost the borough $154,000. And Bellefonte's manager says it isn't a requirement, but the borough is probably interested. He says the council will decide whether or not to okay the state's plan. And in the coming weeks, the high-rise apartment buildings that line Beaver Avenue and downtown State College will have a new, taller neighbor. Buildings like this one, going in on the corner of College and Atherton, may qualify for additional floors in the near future. The borough's planning commission has considered an initiative that would change building height restrictions under the proposed plan. Developers would be able to agree to incentives and in turn be allowed to build taller buildings. The incentives could include underground parking, increased sidewalk space, or even creating an environmentally friendly structure.
The south entrance of Penn State's Hub Robeson Center is now open. The south entry leads to the new locations of the Penn State Federal Credit Union, ID Plus, and PNC Bank. The rest of the hub can be accessed from the elevators right inside the doors. The bookstore will be the next finished project and is expected to open next month. The grand opening of the new atrium is planned for March. In total, the construction includes 106,000 square feet of development. The current plan is to have the restored hub lawn finished by the fall semester.
And this week has brought lots of snow to our area, and some people are cashing in on the bad weather. Reporter Taylor Bisacki talked with one man who found more snow means more business.
When the snow begins to fall and the winter storms roll in, so does the business, at least for Mark Eveleth.
I mean, you're pretty much on call all winter, so you can't leave. You know, a lot of times it's middle of the night.
What started as just a side landscaping job 10 years ago has turned into a year-round business of roughly 20 employees. But even with extra help, the winter season takes its toll.
I'm usually mentally not there for a while before and after, you know, anticipating phone calls.
And the calls constantly rang in after Center County's first big snowstorm, making it hard to catch a break. Mark spends anywhere from 12 to 30 hours plowing through the snow of State College in Center County using this truck right here. And after these long days, he knows it's all worth it in the end. For about $5,700, Mark was able to add a plow to his truck and even increase his gross revenue by about 25% each year.
Well, it definitely helps the bank account if you consider, you know, working from March until almost December doing landscaping, and then in the winter you got maybe 12 to 15 times where you're out plowing snow. It's a pretty high profit margin anyway.
While the snow has others snuggled up inside, Mark has found perks to being one of the few outside.
Oh, I get very excited when we know snow's coming. I enjoy plowing. I even enjoy, especially working in the middle of the night. It's quiet, so it's kind of relaxing in some ways.
Reporting in State College, I'm Taylor Bisacki for the Center County Report.
Well, hopefully he feels the same way by the end of the long winter months.
Are we finally done with the snow? We'll have the weekend forecast after the break. And a local high school basketball coach just made history on the court. Find out what's so special about the number 172.